Hi, and welcome to Take Time to Create. This is where we take time out of our everyday lives to create new and wonderful things. Today, I have another journal from the group that I'm a part of. That's the Sisterhood of the Traveling Art Journal. And I received this in about a week ago, and I'm pretty excited. This is a really cool theme. I'm loving this. I'm loving the whole series. I'm loving working with new friends and old friends, and it's really great. Loving all of it. If you've missed the other installments, I will link the playlist down below in the description box. And so you can see all of the other Sisterhood of the Traveling Art Journal, which I love. Love that name. Still just tickles me. This one, beautiful cover. Look at this. And so it kind of gives a hint of what the theme is. Open it up, and she pens a very beautiful letter, and she talks about sewing and how she really found sewing and quilting especially as her thing, and she's in love with it, you know, in addition to art journaling and mixed media and all that great stuff. And I love the quote, "My soul is fed by needle and thread." Just beautiful. I am loving that. And so the whole theme is needle and thread, sewing, something along those lines. Look at this beautiful page. It's amazing. Look at that. Gorgeous. I love this garden. So beautiful. And this was the next person in line, and she did this really lovely quilt shop with a tree and crocheted girls, and these are really fabulous. I'm in love with them. Oh, and I like the little charms. I guess it's for a bookmark, a thimble, and a bobbin. I love it. I love this one. This is great. And then we have this one, and look at all these elements, and look at this beautiful, I think it's a quilt, but I don't know what it is, but I love it. It's very pretty. And then all of these little notions and tags in this pocket, and these two pockets actually, some really pretty velvet. So I love this, and I love the pattern paper or the tissue paper on the outside. So everybody is doing fabulous. I'm loving what they're doing. So I'm going to do something a little different, of course, because that's the way I am. I did a practice journal page, and so I'm going to do something similar to this, where I have a zipper and I have buttons and butterflies bursting out of the zipper. But I had to do a practice one just to see if my idea would work on a journal page. I've done that on bottles before, but it's round and it's just different shape. So I tried it out and I love it. So we're going to do a similar page to that here in this journal. Okay, let me get a blank page and let's get started. So very cool. The first thing I want to do is add a background, and I am going to put not the tissue paper, but the actual instructions. I'm going to rip up pieces and put the instructions in. I like the color, and I wanted something a little different than I normally use, because I use the tissue paper all the time for almost everything. So I'm just going to do this, rip big sections. So I'm going to use this Daler & Rowney Simply Acrylic Matte Medium to adhere it all down. Just gonna sprinkle some on here and just go to town. Just need a thin layer. I had thought about doing one of my fabric landscapes that I do all the time. I thought that that would be a really good version of my needle and thread, since I don't sew. Not really. So I didn't have anything to really sew, but I didn't want to do that. As I got to looking at it, I changed my mind, of course, and this just really told me that it needed to be done. The book told me it needed it, the zipper, and I thought, you know what, I love the zipper, I love the buttons. I haven't done it for a while. So there we go. That's how I decided that that was what I wanted to do, but I really think almost anything would work in this book. This theme is so fabulous. All right. So go ahead and make sure you get the pattern paper all over, and we'll be right back. All right, so now I have it all done. So I'm going to take this Finnebar stencil, which I love, and I've used, I don't know, 1,000 times, I guess. I love this stencil. That was one thing that my test sheet did not have, my test journal page. And it's something that I really think I needed to add that extra texture. So I'm glad I practiced before I sent this off to my friends, because I always want to send them the best page possible. I'm using Finnebar's modeling paste. And I will link those down below in the description box. They are, of course, affiliate links. And if you're not sure how an affiliate link works, you don't pay extra for the item, but I do get a few pennies from each purchase that you make, and I do appreciate it very much. All right, so I'm just kind of smearing this on here in there, and I'm not too worried about perfection. If it's not perfect in the stencil, that's okay, because I kind of want it to not be perfect. That imperfection is what I love. And I know that in the middle I'll have my zipper, so that will be going on as well. But I definitely want to hit the edges. All right, I have some fabulous stenciling done. Let me pull that off. Maybe I can lift it up. Everything's wet. Look at that. Oh, cool. All right, so I have a good base layer done. Now the next step is to let this fully dry, because we're going to paint over it. All right, so we're back, and this is all dry now, and you can see the texture that we have, and I'm loving that. And it looks like this is coming up. I didn't put enough matte medium underneath, but no problem. If you find that after you come back it's starting to pop up, just take a little bit more matte medium, stick it on underneath, and it will all go down. Also, all of the edges, when you're all done, just trim them up, and then it will look perfect. Okay, so now what I want to do is paint the background, and I moved my map from underneath the other page to on top of this page, because I want to keep this other page more pristine, more white, and I doubt it's going to stay that way, but I'm going to try. So I'm going to use Dylusions paint, and I have the color Melted Chocolate, Black Marble, Bubblegum Pink, and White Linen. Now this pink is way too bright if you look, way too bright, but that's okay. I'm going to use other colors to kind of dilute it and really just bring it on down. But I love these paints, and I'm a little late to the party because I haven't used them yet. That's okay. Better late than never, right? So I'm just kind of smearing on a little bit, and then I'll take some black. A little bit goes a long way. I love these. Even though I haven't used them very much, I'm pretty excited to now start using them. And I have a baby wipe, and I just kind of smear it around, paint with it, wipe some off, add some more. So this is what I'm going to do until I get the look I am going for. It's all Dylusions paint that I'll be using at this step. And then when this is all done, we'll move on to the next step, but that's what I am going for. So let's get to it. All right, just keep playing with it till you get the look you like. And remember that your zipper is going to cover up a good portion of it. So this is just the background, it's accent. And I am loving the way this looks. I have to say, I'm really enjoying the Dylusions paint. I don't know why it took me so long to purchase the paint, but a little bit goes a long way, and there's so many cool techniques. So I am loving it. It's just an acrylic paint. It just has a slightly different, not texture, but viscosity to it. It's a little more runny, and I'm loving it. So there we go. We'll be seeing more of it, I'm sure. Now I want to add some stamps on the background, and I'm just using this stamp. I really like it. It's a Finnabar set, and I think it's one that came with stamps and a stencil, but if I can find it, I will link it down below. I'm not even putting it on an acrylic block. I'm not too worried about that. And I'm just stamping a little bit around, just add a little bit more detail. Oh, and I'm using archival ink, Ranger. Okay, just like that. So now I've got the stamped on images and I've got it painted and I'm loving the way it looks. So now what I want to do is add some splashes. Just have an old card here, a little bit of white acrylic paint. This is just standard acrylic paint. And I just add a tiny bit of water. Add enough water, mix it around till it gets to the consistency you like. And there you go, we're splattering. Now we're going to dry this and then we can add the 3D layer with the zipper and the buttons and all of the other good textures. All right, so it's pretty dry and I'm loving the way that looks. That's so cool. Okay, now we want to work with the zipper and I'm gonna scooch this out of the way. And I just have this black fabric. It's kind of a lacy fabric. Don't know where I got it. Don't know much about it, but it works just fine. And what I do, all right. So I'm just gonna take this and off of my journal, I'm going to, because I know I want the fabric to kind of sit this way with the zipper, and I'm just going to glue the zipper right onto the fabric. So I have a Teflon sheet here and I'm just going to stick it underneath. It'll be easier to peel off the hot glue when it's all done. And all I'm doing is just taking this and I'm just going to glue. Now you don't want, when you glue on the outer edge of the zipper, not next to the little teeth on the zipper, because you'll want to tuck buttons underneath. And if you glue on the teeth, you won't be able to tuck buttons in and that won't work at all. I'm going with more of a flat look with this. If you want, you can bunch up the fabric in there and that's a different look and it works great. And it's very cute, but you don't have to if you don't want to. And now's the time also to decide how far you want to zip up your zipper. I think mine is good because the further up it goes, the less you're going to be seeing. Makes sense, doesn't it? All right, let me scoot this up. Let's see here. You guys can't see. Let me scoot that up a wee bit. All right, you can kind of see, but you get the idea. Hot glue your zipper on. You can put more glue down at the bottom because that's where it's going to go. And there's no button sticking out on the bottom. And there you go, just glue your zipper onto your fabric. Okay, the zipper's all glued on and I'm just going to trim it. I'm not going to, let me scoot the journal down. I'm not going to trim all of the fabric off the top because I might want some fabric kind of peeking out, seeing where it goes. So what I am going to do is trim the edges of the fabric and trim the bottom. And that will help me see where I want the fabric to go. And I'm just going to trim a straight line up this way so the fabric extends. And I'm kind of going a little bit underneath the zipper so that the fabric doesn't really stick out. And you can always come back and trim a little later too. So, all right, all trimmed. And now I know where the bottom is. I need to trim at my edges a little bit better. Okay, well, let me move this. There we go. All right, so now we have the fabric trimmed and I'm just going to leave the extra fabric up at the top till the end. And my zipper is actually hanging off the edge and I will just trim that up at the end. Make sure when you put your zipper down that you can still close your book okay. I know this book is a triangle. It's a giant puffy book and I'm loving it. And it closes still okay. Okay, so now I'm going to hot glue the zipper down. Now you can use any glue that will hold such a thick element like this. I'm sure there are other glues, but hot glue is easy for me and I know it will dry and I know it will stay. And so that's why I use that, because I know it'll work. But like I said, there are lots of options. All right. Hey, love it. Now it's time for the buttons. I have a giant tub of buttons and this is normally how I work. I just love to pour out my buttons. And I'm going to grab all of my black buttons and look at the buttons too, because sometimes you'll have a button and it'll have decoration on one side, but the other side is black, and so look for that too when you're looking at your buttons. And if you don't love the color of the buttons, say you only have pink and purple buttons, and that's not what you want, that's okay. Just put black gesso over them, and then ta-da, they are black buttons. Let me grab my buttons, and I'll be right back. And if you really like the shape of a button, but it's not in the color scheme that you want, the black gesso works really well too. Like this one's really pretty. I think I might use it anyway. But we can definitely use the black gesso anyway to darken it up. So look for shapes and don't worry about color. I don't think I'm going to paint any of mine with gesso, but if you need to, I'm just letting you know if you do this in your art journal, what you can do to make it work for you. All right, so now we're going to put buttons on, and this one, nope. This one's a good example of a button that has a nice, beautiful texture on the actual correct side, but I'm just going to flip it over and use the other side. And that works great. So just start gluing them down, and you'll want to put bigger buttons on the bottom and then fill in with smaller buttons and tuck them into the side of the zipper. That's why we didn't glue it all the way down. And just start filling in the blanks. All right, we have everything and it's well secured. And what I'm going to do is cut the fabric, and I'm going to cut the zipper too, just to kind of even up my edge so I know where everything goes, all that good stuff. All right, cool. Just like that. Now, this zipper technique is really cool to do other things like sand or beads or rhinestones or really anything coming out of the zipper. Just use your imagination. I like buttons, but I have done other techniques and I just love it. I'm actually going to take the zipper here and I'm going to put a dot of glue and glue it down because I want it to stay down. Now I'm going to take some trim, and I have this flower trim. And I got it in Phoenix, and I'm really not sure the name of the store. They had some really cool fabric and trims there, and it was really very economical, and I loved it. And so I don't remember the name of the store, SOS or SAS, something like that. If you're from Phoenix, let me know what the name of the store is. And I love it. I went with my sister, and they've got super duper cheap things and tons of it, and the variety was amazing. I love that place. So I don't remember the name, but anyway, it was super. So I have this metal trim, and it's got these really pretty plastic flowers, and I'm just going to cut off the edge here and hot glue it, and my zipper kind of bends, so I'm just going to follow along and just put a little bit down at a time. Now you don't have to cover up your zipper edge, but I wanted to. I thought it just needed a little bit more texture because, you know, there's never too much. So I just needed just a little bit more to have this going on. So I'm going to do this and we'll be right back. All right, so I have it all done with the trim, and I did clip off this one because it needs to be able to close. I don't know why we'd want to close the journal, but I guess we need to. Woo, so cute. Look at that. I took the one that I trimmed off, and I just trimmed off the little excess, and I'm going to glue that right down here at the bottom. All right, so cute. Okay. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to add the elements. So I have these butterflies. They are the Mechanicals grungy butterflies. They're Finnebars, and they're really, really cute. Just saying. I'm just putting it out there. They are really, really cute. So what I'm going to do, I have to decide if I want the kind of rusty, I think I'm going to do the silver one. And I'm going to put the larger butterfly up here and the medium, and I think I've got a small one around here. Let me find him. So I have 2 of the silver ones, and I don't know where the third one was. I think I've used it in a project. So I have these generic little butterflies because I want to have 3 butterflies, and I'm okay with it being a little different, but the color is way wrong. So I'm going to take some of the metallic wax, and this is brushed iron. I just have a stencil brush, and this is by Plaid, and I'm just taking a little bit and I'm putting it on my hand to kind of warm it up, and then I'm just brushing it all over. Oops, there was 2 of them. And I think I got these off of eBay maybe. I'm not sure, but they're very cheap. These are generic ones, and this gets it a little closer. And I'm going to take that same color and put it on the other 2 butterflies, just so they all kind of match and they all work together. They don't have to be exactly matchy-matchy, but they have to at least look like they belong together. And there we go. So now what I'm going to do is kind of bend their wings just a little bit and glue them down. But when I'm done with the book, I'm actually going to bend the wings back a little bit so that the book closes a little easier. There we go. Stick the little butterflies down. I'm holding them down just for a second. Modeling paste will hold these down, just about anything. So I always do things in the wrong order. Before I glue the other 2 down, I wanted to take some Opal Magic, and this is a vintage silk. And I wanted to add this accent all over, so I wanted it on the buttons, so it's underneath. And just like this, oops, I had too much. Just kind of brushing it on. I want it on the little flowers here, just a tiny, tiny bit. I'm just kind of dabbing that on just to give that cool texture. And I'm just going to go all over. And this brightens up. What I see happening is it's getting kind of dark in here, and I'm just brightening up these buttons and adding some really cool detail. I love the waxes. I don't pull them out as much as I should, but I'm starting to really pull out my old supplies and start playing with them again, because I bought them for a reason. I bought them because I loved them. So, and I'm hitting the wings, so I might as well use what I have, and that is what we all should be doing. All right, so I hit the wings on this one on the edges, and I left the body pretty silver. It's a pretty good silver on there. And let me add the other 2 butterflies. Put them going different directions so it looks a little more natural, but if you want them all going the same, that's fine too. And you can just kind of play with it and see what's going on. Hold it down for just a second so that the glue really adheres. I want it a little vintagey, a little grungy. And where'd my 3rd butterfly go? I lost him already. Where'd he go? All right. You know, this guy's a little still too bright. And like I always say, they're too bright. Add some black gesso. That's what I always say, right? Well, he needs a little bit of black gesso. I could have found a brush, but finger works just fine. Then I can add some more silver on him. Then I can add the other color on him. There we go. All right, adding a little silver. Oh yeah, he matches much better now. Get him all a little grungy. Yeah, you know, work with what you have. Couldn't find the other guy, so I'm gonna stick him, wedge him in there a little bit. Just kind of like that. Problem is that he's going to need to flatten out when we close the book, so I'll kind of smash him in there. Okay. All right. Whew, got a lot going on. Okay, so now we're going to take this color and get the edges of this butterfly. Oh, so cute. We're going to hit the edges of this butterfly as well. All right, there we go. I think we're done. Let me hold this up so you can really see it. Check that out. Oh yeah, there we go. I'm loving this. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And you can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and on my blog. I do have 2 Instagrams. I have Take Time to Create, which is all of my crafty goodies and all my art journal pages and things like that. And I also have Linda's Journey 78. That's my personal Instagram. Feel free to follow me on both. I would love to have you. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys next time.